Happy Friday, everybody. I am Matt Trotz, and I'm here on TRS Live. That means it's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, we go live for TRS Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And our goal here at TRS Live is to save you a bunch of money. And boy, we got some awesome products today. But first, let's kind of catch you up on some things. So I'm overlooking the floor of the Real Shot. Remember, they open early now on Thursday, Fridays, and also Saturdays. So hours Thursday, Friday are 8 to 8. And then on Saturday, it's 8 to 5. They are closed on Sunday. And then they're back to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, 10 to 6 p.m. So you can come on in store, check out a lot of these cool things that we talk about here. Now remember, one thing I want to remind everybody is the deals that we talk about on TRS Live are on therealshot.com only. So we're getting some questions, some customers are coming in store, which we do appreciate, but the deals that we talk about here happen on therealshot.com. That's where you have to take advantage of it. So the other thing too, fixed TV subscribers. Now remember, you can watch TRS Live free on the Real Shot Facebook page, the Real Shot YouTube page, TRS Live Facebook page, and also on the Fixed TV platform. So what is Fixed TV, you may ask? Well, Fixed TV is the video on demand platform where you can watch such great things like maybe The Guided Life, which we got some cool things coming up in the next couple weeks there. You can also watch Head to Head Fishing, the Jake Jacobs Show, and there's a lot of other cool content coming at you as well on Fixed TV. So here's the deal. Fixed TV, $5.99 a month, right? But you automatically get a $5 coupon every month you are a subscriber to use, well, right here on TRS Live. So you get a $5 coupon to use at therealshot.com. So basically now your membership is 99 cents a month. And then if you refer a friend and they sign up for Fixed TV, you will gain a month free of viewing. So long story short, if you gain 12 friends to become Fixed TV subscribers, you can only pay 99 cents and get a year's basically of 2 Fixed TV for that 99 cents. And remember, every month you stay a subscriber to Fixed TV, you will get that $5 credit. So if you haven't used it yet for the month of July, maybe some of the awesome products that we're going to talk about today is a good opportunity to use that $5 credit. Now, when you're on therealshot.com, there's a category box on the left-hand side of your screen. You drop down, you see TRS Live Shopping. If you click on that, it's going to bring you first and foremost to a calendar. That calendar has past shows on it with some of the past products. And it's also going to have some of the future shows with some of the future products that we're talking about here on TRS Live. Now you scroll up a little bit more and you'll see all the products that we've talked about on the realshot.com website. Now here's the caveat to that. Some of the products may be discounted, some of the products may not be discounted. So you have to take advantage of watching this show basically live or within the first 24 to 48 hours. Otherwise, some of the inventories may be gone or some of the deals may be gone. So that's kind of my spiel. It is Friday. Let's get right into the show. So the first product that I have here is Get Bit Baits. Now, we've talked about them a lot. We've had Dan Elsner in here. We had Alex on just the other day. And we're talking about the 2 3/4 inch tubes and basically every color that the Real Shot carries. But again, you can only take my word so far, and I have a phenomenal pro staffer that will be joining me today via phone call. Vince Heatree has been pro staff, and he's going to tell us all about his pro staff with Get Bit. So Vince, good morning. Are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy. How are you doing this fine morning?
Well, pretty good. Getting ready to go fishing in a little bit. Probably drag some tubes.
Perfect. Well, that's perfect because we're going to talk about the Get Bit tube. We're talking about the 2 3/4 inch. And it would take me a long time to talk about some of the colors that are available. So, it is everything. But the first question I got for you, Vince, is how long have you been pro staff for Get Bit?
I'm trying to think. It's probably been since 2012, 13-ish.
So, you've been a pro staff member for a long time, so you absolutely trust and rely on the Get Bit stuff. And how many days on the water do you normally spend a year?
On water, I'm probably spending about 175 to 200 days a year.
And you're getting ready to go out on the water today. So, part of what you do is you also fish tournaments, but you run a guide business. Is that true, Vince?
That is correct.
And what's the name of your guide business?
100% correct. I mean, I've been guiding on and off for the last 10 years. This year, starting last year, I really started taking it more and more seriously with extra time at work that I can take off and rather guide.
So if people are curious, so what part of, because you guide in the state of Wisconsin, what part of the state and what's the name of your guide business?
Fish Boy Guide Service, and I'm primarily in southeast Wisconsin.
And I can tell you, everybody,
fishing, then I open up the surroundings a little bit more.
Yep. So I can tell you, I've spent a couple of trips with Vince in the winter during ice fishing season. We've gone for some late panfish, and it is absolutely phenomenal fishing down by Vince, and he is a top-notch guide. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for him, find him on social media because he does a great job. So let's talk about the Get Bit tube, Vince. For you, is this a go-to for largemouth and smallmouth bass, or what is your go-to method with the 2 3/4 inch tube?
I mean, pretty much it all started over a decade ago when some guy lives up by you guys that likes throwing a rat way too much. Might have been Timmy. Gave me a pack of those tubes, and he's like, well, a couple guys up here use these. Keep these on the down low. And yeah, I kept them down low for a while, and then all of a sudden, people started hearing about them more and more. And next thing you know, I'm talking to Dan Elsner, and that tube is something that it's something that's tied up in my boat every time I'm fishing. Anywhere from Michigan, Minnesota to southern Missouri, Alabama, I'm catching fish on it. It just works. It flat out works, whether it's largemouth or smallies.
It doesn't matter. Plus, let's talk about what the tube represents in the water. When you're fishing it, you're typically dragging, and that's going to mimic, what would you say, more of a crawfish pattern?
It really all depends. It's such a subtle bait that's so simple, which simplicity is good, that it can be anything crawling over the bottom, whether it be a crawfish, a goby. And it's just a profile that can mimic so many different things that any game fish will eat. It doesn't have to be a crawfish. It's just, something that a fish will eat.
And there's so many different ways to rig this tube. We can get into this. So first and foremost, I'm going to take a moment here, Vince, and it's going to probably be about 5 minutes because I got to talk about some of the colors here that are on sale at the Reel Shot. Okay. So you can see some of the prices that are on your screen. Normally $3.99 a bag. We got them priced at $3.09 a bag, and it's a 10 tubes.
Great price.
And we're talking about the 2 3/4 inch. Yeah, it is a great price, Vince. So here we go, Vince. I'm going to start the list really quick. Green pumpkin copper. We got morning dawn. Green pumpkin purple gold. Dark melon. Smoke purple gold. Green pumpkin, which is a standard. It's a staple in a lot of bodies of water. Light Erie green, dark melon copper, leech, which is another one of those phenomenal colors, and I think that's kind of an exclusive color for the Get Bit. Brown crawfish, Great Lakes goby, like Vince was kind of saying the tube can represent. Green pumpkin blue fleck, white silver fleck, green pumpkin purple fleck, the new ugly, green pumpkin smoke purple, old ugly, green pumpkin red fleck, molting crawl, and you're straight up black. If you can't find a tube that you like in that color, you're not looking hard enough.
I've never caught a fish on any of those colors in my life. Just kidding.
So basically, Vince is saying don't buy any of those colors because they don't work, I think is what you're trying to say.
Don't buy any of these tubes. Never use them. Never caught a fish. Just let me use them.
Just let Vince use them. And so let's start about the go-to method for rigging the tube is we kind of have some videos or some images of it, but there's the standard, right? It's the tube jig slid up inside the body, and yes. And that's kind of the standard. We got it on the screen right now. You can kind of see it right here. Can you talk about how you would fish that method?
Essentially, what I'm doing 90% of the time I'm using a 1/8 ounce or a 3/16 ounce weight with a 2/0 hook with a 90-degree bend. I like to use a thin wire hook because I'm using lighter line. Typically, when I'm dragging, I'm casting it on like a 7'2" medium fast action rod, spinning, 15-pound braid connected to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. And usually I'm dragging it very slowly, just crawling it across the bottom. If I'm fishing over deeper water, I'll go to that 1/8 ounce. And a lot of times they hit it on the drop because when you cast out with these little tubes, you get that nice spiraling drop.
Yeah.
And, you know, that can be a bait fish falling through a school. Like, they just munch it. It's just like line watching with a Senko.
Yep. You watch for that little tick, or you watch that
Yup,
line.
that little twitch. And sometimes you just feel it all the way through the line into the rod, straight through your hand. It's quite amazing.
So
I just absolutely love those things. And
yeah.
I mean, I'd never really go over a 3/16 ounce, even if I'm fishing 25 feet of water.
Wow, really? So you're just you're just super finessey fishing this style.
Yes. And if I'm skipping docks, which I do a lot, I'll use that 2 3/4 inch tube and I go straight braid with it. And those things skip like rockets.
Explain why you would go straight braid in those situations.
Under a dock, I just don't like having an extra knot.
Yep.
And I don't like using thinner fluorocarbon under a dock. I mean, you're already fishing shadows, so in my opinion, the braid doesn't matter as much. If it's a quick fall, it's kind of a reaction bite, and if you're still dragging it out, they're going to munch it no matter what. They don't pass up a little snack.
Right. So now when you're fishing that standard style, and then what we had in the image there was a standard tube jig, and then there actually is those tube jigs with the rattles in them. That's something you can incorporate just to get a little more noise to that bait. The salt impregnate, I mean, you know, when we talk to Dan, basically Dan incorporates his baits that are as natural to, you know, what we see in nature as you can possibly get. And the tube is one of those
Correct.
baits, like you said. It mimics so much that you see in the water, and depending on the color pattern that you choose, you know, you're basically going to match the hatch in that kind of situation. But does that standard style of fishing, like you're saying, that slow drag, does that matter on time of year, or is that a go-to for you all year long?
It's usually a go-to year-round. If I'm targeting smallies, especially. For me personally, there's not many times if they're hanging around the bottom, there's not many times they're not going to eat a slowly dragged tube. There just isn't.
Well,
as long as you can get away with it, where there's no algae on the bottom, no moss, you know, like the gunk the boogers, the lake boogers, the stuff you can't get away from sometimes.
Yep.
Like that's pretty much the only time that it gets tough to use a tube.
So here I got another question for you, Vince. So okay, we're talking that standard presentation, kind of in, you know, with that more, it's more of a narrow style jig head. So the other two that I rigged up yesterday would be, let's talk about when you would go to like a football style head shoved inside the tube. And I think we have a video here. So when would you change it up and run a football style head in there?
With a football head, I mean, you can do that when you're trying to mimic a goby. You can get a fatter looking head like a goby has. You can use it for making it to stand up in the rocks better too. It'll go over rocks a lot better.
That bigger head, does it?
Two for me.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I don't typically use a football head inside of a tube, to be honest, much. I like just the regular old-fashioned tube head. It's that profile for me that simply works all the time.
Yeah.
I keep it simple.
So
very simple.
I liked what you're saying though, because if you run that bigger head once in a while, right, and you got to stay with what you're confident in. I mean, that's basically what you're saying. That standard tube rig, like Vince mentioned a couple times, it works all year round, cold water, warm water. I mean, cold front situations, when the fish are kind of negative, when they're super active, like if they're going to hit it on the drop. And we're talking kind of largemouth and smallmouth bass right now, but people don't realize that a tube is an absolute walleye killer, man. This is a good bait for catching walleyes as well.
Oh, I literally target walleyes with it. Especially in fast current situations, it's you can flip it upstream, and it's just a quick blur going by their face with the light jig head. They have to eat it.
The cool thing about
reaction.
In that bait, surprisingly, with that hook being shown, kind of like what we've shown in some of these videos, that hook being, I guess, pronounced outside the skirt portion,
completely exposed.
Yep, but it's still virtually pretty darn weedless. I mean, it can go through weeds really well. And then, like you were saying, too, it doesn't get hung up in the rocks as much, depending on, what type of rock. Like if it's, over a riprap bottom compared to like a ledge bottom. I mean, obviously the thing's not virtually weedless all the time, but it still goes through that stuff pretty darn well.
It does, especially like weeds, like semi-scattered weeds, or you're fishing sand pockets and stuff of that nature, through like thin grass. You can you can feel your bait dragging into a weed, and you just give it a really quick semi-slackline pop, and usually it just pulls right out of the weeds and rips through it, and you don't get any weeds on the bait. And by doing that, you also a lot of times get hit by a fish. It's right when you pop it out of the weeds.
Yep, it's that reaction like you're saying. And I mean, I'm looking at, I got the pink tube here in front of me right now, and I'm really feeling that salt on the outside. The tentacles, if you want to call them, like if nobody's really ever seen a tube, like for me, the very first thing that I've ever caught like crappies on was the small tube, right? The crappie style tube. This thing looks like a squid in the water, but it's so versatile, and we've kind of talked about a couple of different methods, and now, like, I want to get to it. I know you kind of mentioned that you don't fish the football head, but like the other method too, just to enlarge that head portion, is one that we also carry here. I think it's called the Big Dude Junior, and I can bring that one up here on the screen as well. It just, again, it kind of enlarges that profile.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I've used those.
Of the head, yep, it gives it a little different look. It helps that with that bigger head portion to it, kind of like with the football, it'll go through the weeds a little bit better. But it's just something that, if that standard rig like we showed on the screen is not working, just change it up a little bit. Plus, with that bait inside the head, with the lead portion inside that head, again, it just makes it so easy to fish.
Yes, it truly does. I mean, if you can cast the bait out, let it sink, and slowly drag a bait in, you can use a tube and catch a lot of fish.
It is definitely easy but effective way to fish. Now, the next one here is, I want to bring it up on the screen. Now, I mean, so we've talked about ways to rig it. There's the standard style. We talked about the football head, just enlarging that head. You could Texas rig it. Maybe not these small 2 3/4 inch size. You could Tokyo rig it. Now, have you ever drop shotted a tube?
It works very well.
I love how subtle you are with some of this stuff. You're like, yep, it probably would work if you would give it a try.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was actually talking to Alex about this, Lovis, like a week ago, about drop shot in a tube, and it had to be 10, 12 years ago, maybe longer, 15 years ago. That one day on a little lake out by me on a Monday night bass tournament, I'm like, I'm going to drop shot a tube. Yeah, it worked extremely well, and once in a while I do that now.
Right. Well, and it just shows you that the tube is so versatile. I mean, we've talked about, what are we at, like 5 different rigging methods? And if you would Google how to rig a tube, there's so many different ways to do it.
Like right when I get off the phone with you today, I'm going to go jump in a boat, I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to Carolina rig the tube today. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
It's something else. It will work.
Now, here's one that I didn't rig up yesterday, but like, have you ever, they call it the stupid tube? Has that something you've ever tried before?
I have. It definitely works. I don't use that option much. I really, truly don't. It works really good. Some people are extremely successful with it.
Yep.
It's just not something that I personally do often. So I don't have a ton of experience with it, but I do know it works.
Right. And I mean, that we had that drop shot on the screen, and that just goes to show you, like, again, how versatile the tube is, because you can fish it on the bottom, and if you drop shot it, depending on where those fish are suspended, you know, you're catching those fish at, you know, all throughout the water column. It's just one of those, it's one of those baits that, like, if you've never really given a tube a try, this is a great opportunity at the price we got it at right now to give a tube a try. And there's so many different colors that we talked about. Again, you got to go to therealshot.com, and the code is GBBT2. That's the code you want to type in. You see it on the top of your screen. And it's just going to bring up a huge array of colors, and it's just the salt on there, the different colors, the translucent colors. I mean, these things are absolutely phenomenal. But let's talk about now for me a little bit, Vince. Let's talk about the durability of the tube.
This was actually something I wanted to bring up to you too. As long as you don't break it off when you're dragging through rocks or get caught under a dock, that tube will last 10, 20 fish.
Yep.
And the cool thing about them is you'll notice it, especially with like a color like leech. The more fish you catch off of it, the lighter it gets. And that's a lot of time because of that salt impregnation.
Yep.
The more fish that hit it, the more it gets a little bit chewed on. In my opinion, the better the bait gets. It keeps releasing salt. It gets even softer, and it looks cool. And that beat up tube just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And like right now, I mean, I'm pulling on it pretty hard, and I'm not seeing any rips forming, and I'm pulling on the tentacles, the skirt portion, and I'm not pulling them off. Now, the thing about what Dan uses in his material, right? It's durable, yet it's supple enough to give it the movement, to give it the action, the lifelike characteristic that you really want. But you know, so let's do this now. I think we talked about some of the methods. Now, when you rig your tube the standard style, can you kind of talk about it? Like, Aaron, if you bring that video back up, how would you go about rigging that tube so you don't like rip it or anything like that?
Well, I take the tube head, and I get it wet. I just dip it in the water or something, put some saliva on it, and I push it through all the way to the head, all the way to the tip of the tube, and I roll my thumb over the eye of the hook, and it just pops through. And that's essentially all I do. You don't break the tube in any way, and you get that perfect. You don't want an air gap between the head of the tube head, and the tube itself. You don't want an air gap.
Yep.
You get snagged a lot more that way, and it destroys the tube.
Yes. Yep. And
you want it nice and tight inside that cavity.
Yep. And so, like, for those, if we failed to mention it, I do apologize, but like Vince is saying, the head portion of the tube is hollow all the way through, but yet the material is still pretty thick around the outside. So that's why once you get your tube placed, you know, perfectly at the top, eliminating that air gap, like Vince saying, you just take your thumbs and you just press it just lightly enough that eye pokes through. When I first started, I'm not going to lie about it, Vince. When I first started fishing a tube, I was one of those guys that would kind of go through the top and try to push the bait all the way through. And then I think Dan Elsner's like, "What are you doing, fool? Just go through the bottom. That's what it's designed for."
Yes. And, when you got to put a different tube on, you're retying every time.
Yep.
But tying a knot literally takes 5 seconds.
Right.
It's no time. And if I'm fishing a tournament and I'm dragging through rock, there's days that I will lose 10, 20, 30 tubes. That's just part of the game. But I'll have 10 or 20, 25 tubes all rigged up in a cup holder in the boat or stuck in a carpet. Just ready to rock.
Just ready to go.
Plus another rod tied up with a tube.
Hey, Hey, before we continue to talk about this, as I'm messing around with the turntable here, I had a comment. What'd you say, Aaron, from Patricia? Is that right? So Trisha Bray wanted me to inform you, when you said you're on the water 175 to 200 days a year, she said it's more like 300 days a year.
I don't keep count, so she's probably right.
But either way, I mean, it just goes to show you, like, that's why I have awesome guests like you on the show, because, like, I think I like to fish a lot, or like our wives say, like, yeah, you do fish a lot, but like a guy like yourself, 200 days on the body of water a year, like, you absolutely have to trust in the gear that you're using, and for you to trust in the Get Bit baits, especially this 2 3/4 inch tube, I mean, I think that just speaks volumes.
It truly does. And like I said, I mean, from northern Minnesota, as far north as I've fished with the tube, to southern Missouri and Alabama, I have not found a place that I can't catch a fish on a Get Bit tube.
Right. Or an application. I mean, you can get creative with it.
Exactly. There's an application for it everywhere.
And I mean, we're highlighting the 2 3/4, but some of the other sizes are like, what is it? The 3? Is it the 3 and the 3.5, and like the 4 and the 5s? Isn't that some of the different sizes?
You can flip with them, flip and pitch in Carolina rigs. You got thin walled tubes. You got there's so many variations that Dan makes at Get Bit, and you got the even smaller tube than the 2 3/4.
Yep.
It's just you can't use them all in one day almost.
Well, and the other cool thing too is
I use most of them.
Right. The price point
to flipping and pitching.
Right. And the price point that Dan normally has his packs at $3.99, you're still getting 10 in that pack. So you're getting a lot of tubes. Like you said, unless you break it off, one tube is going to last you 30, 40, 50 fish potentially.
I'm definitely 10 to 20, 25 fish. As long as you don't break it off.
Come on, hey, we're exaggerating a little bit on our days here, right? So if it's 30 to 40 fish, you got to go with it.
I love it. I love it. I mean, some of those tubes, if they're on for a while, there'll be like 4 tentacles left, and it's still working.
Yep. It is just a proven bait. So, well, hey, Vince, I'm going to get ready to let you go because I know you want to get on the water. I do really appreciate it. Besides, like, the guiding, what else do you have coming up for the rest of the summer, and where can people follow you on social media?
You know, for the rest of the summer, I'm kind of just winging it. Other than guide trips, I'm just fishing. And I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yes. Isn't it nice to kind of take a break from the tournament scene a little bit?
It truly is. You know, sometimes you have a rough year for a year, and you use a year to get back to your roots and figure out why you started doing tournaments.
Right.
Because you love fishing.
Right. And then
you truly do. You got to do that once in a while.
Social media-wise, where can people follow along with your adventures?
My main Facebook profile is Vincent J. Heatree. And my business is Fishboy Guide Service.
I absolutely love that name. I think that's such an awesome name for a business.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it just stuck with me ever since a little kid when my dad started calling me Fishboy. And I highly encourage everybody, if you're looking for a awesome trip, and like Vince is multi-species, right? We've talked a lot about bass fishing with the tube, but you know, Vince is a multi-species angler. He guides almost 365 days a year, whether it's hard water or soft water. I highly encourage you to look him up. He's an outstanding guy, and you will definitely have fun when you're on the body of water with Vince. Thank you, Matt.
Well, hey, buddy, I do appreciate you making time today. Good luck when you go fishing, whether it's today or the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm literally staring at my aquarium right now, and you know about that.
I
got my largemouth chilling on top of the tank. He's hungry.
Yes.
That means I think it's going to be a really good day today.
Oh, see? I love that.
Active in the aquarium.
You know you are with a quality fisherman when they have a fish tank in their house. What is that, like a 400-gallon fish tank? I mean, the thing is huge.
No, this was 150.
Okay, again, I'm just way off on my numbers today, but like What do you got? There's bluegills, there's crappies, bass in there. The thing is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, this bass just ate a shiner a little bit ago.
So, well, I'll let you go so you can get on the water and fish some of these get bit tubes.
Oh, yeah. I could do a live demonstration for a tube right now and watch it get eaten.
Well, people got to go to my social media page for the Guided Life. I have a video out there. It's called The Feeding. You can see some of that's awesome fun that Vince and I had after an ice fishing trip one day.
Oh, that was a good time.
All right, Vinny, I'll let you roll, buddy. Again, thank you so much for joining me today on TRS Live.
Hey, thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure.
All right. See you later, buddy.
All right. See ya.
All right, so again, everybody, that's why I have great quality guests on here like Vince. I mean, he guides, he's on the water for nearly 200 days a year. The guy is such a great multi-species angler. He's a great angler. He's a great guy. But that's what I want. Don't take my word for it. Take a pro's word for it. Vince is definitely a pro. He loves the tube just like a lot of you do out there. And we're talking about some of the other, main staple names in the industry. Smallmouth Grush, Travis Manson, Crush. Thank you, Aaron. This is a fumble Friday, is what's going on here. I mean, Travis Manson absolutely loves the get bit tubes, as well as so many other people. So at that price range, like we're talking about, $3.09 for a 10-pack. There's such a wide variety of colors that you can go all over with. And again, before we kind of move into the next product, I'll hit those colors one more time. Green pumpkin copper, morning dawn, green pumpkin purple gold, dark melon, smoke purple gold, green pumpkin, light Erie, not Lake Erie, light Erie green, dark melon copper, leech. That's a phenomenal color. Find that leech color and get a couple bags of those. Brown crayfish, Great Lakes goby, green pumpkin blue fleck, white silver fleck, green pumpkin purple fleck, new ugly, green pumpkin smoke purple, old ugly, green pumpkin red fleck, molten crawl, and black are some of the amazing colors. You see them on the screen throughout today's show. These are some great baits. Again, Dan Elsner knocks it out of the park with all his products, but he is very well known for this tube. That 2 3/4 inch is a multi-species getter. You can fish everything from bass, a large and smallmouth, walleye. You can catch pike on it. I mean, there's really no end of the fish. Big time crappies. I mean, it does basically catch everything in the fresh water. So I highly encourage you to check them on out. So again, thanks so much to Vince. I want you to follow along on his adventures this year on the social media page. And if you are looking for a trip, I want you to go ahead and book a trip with Vince because he's a stand-up gentleman. But coming up next here on TRS Live, we're going to be talking about fillet knives. And this fillet knife here is, again, if we're talking staples with the get bit tubes, this is probably the most recognizable fillet knife in the area or in the world. Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody, to TRS Live. I am your host, Matt Trotz. We just got done talking to Vince Heatree about the Get Bit tube, which is the 2 3/4 inch in a huge array. And boy, I kind of fumbled my way through that one, and they are cool enough here at TRS Live to let me play with a knife now for the next segment on the show. So what could really go wrong? So coming up right here, we're looking at the Rapala fish and fillet knife with the wood handle. Some of the sizes that are available in this knife are the 4, the 6, and the 7, and look at this baby right here. This is a fancy knife. I actually own the 4-inch of this knife. I absolutely love it for a lot of different applications. But let's talk about Rapala first and foremost. Is it Rapala? Is it Rapala? I'll let you decide. Drop it in the comments. Let me know how you like to pronounce it. It is on the Rapala website or on our website, you're saying? Oh yeah, I think it's Rapala. I think it's Rapala. Rapala. What is it? Rapala. See, some people say it Rapala. I like saying Rapala. Rapala. But anyways, Rapala, however you want to say it today, it's been around since 1936. That's 86 years in the game. That's an absolutely outstanding number. And what are they, in 140 different countries, over 20 million Rapala lures sold. Absolutely phenomenal. So if you are a fisherman or a woman, you know the name Rapala. And you probably have one of these fillet knives in your arsenal at home. So let's talk about this. I actually watched and learned a little bit of cool information about this knife right here. So it is actually made in Finland. And if you YouTube this knife, there's a very cool video out there that you can watch on it. But it's the Martini brand, made in Finland. They've been creating knives for a long time. So what had happened is the Rapala company in Minnesota reached out. They had them create this knife through some sketches, but some of the information here that I like to talk about is Martini is the makers of premium Rapala fillet knives for over 50 years. So they've been making this knife for over 50 years. Over 100 million of these knives has sold. Again, if you have a tackle box, if you are a fisherman or a woman, you probably have a variation of this fillet knife in some kind of size, or it's absolutely number. And that again, it brings up to the next point. It's used in more fish camps, charters by fishermen than any other fillet knife in the world. That's a bold statement coming from Rapala on this knife. But so where is it made in Finland? So I'm gonna mess this up, but actually it's made in Rovaniemi, I believe is how you would say it. And just here's a fun fact about that. That's actually the home of Santa Claus. Look it up. It's actually a thing. Now, I've actually Googled that many different times before we went live today, and you get a bunch of different information, but Santa Claus's village is over there as well. So let's look into this knife. Got a classic birch handle. I'm really nervous to open this thing or pull it out of the sheath because Aaron said it was sharp, but he touched it up again. So it's really scalpel sharp. But look at this thing. So we have the classic birch handle to it with that standard Rapala logo built right into that handle, stamped right into the handle. And I'm really telling you, you got to watch that show on how they create this knife. It's really cool to see all the steps that go through. I mean, this birch that they make this handle on is only known to a certain portion of Finland. I think it's right on the Finland and Russia border where this tree grows. It has to sit in a warehouse for over a year before they can start going through the process to kind of create the handle. And it's a full tang. So that's the other thing too here. I'm going to bring this thing out and I'm going to show you. But it's a full tang. So from stem to stern, it runs all the way through this birch handle. And it's designed really well. And that was the thing. When they designed a fillet knife, for them to create a knife that's flexible, you can't quite see it here. I'm trying to show you. So that's as flexible as this. That was something that was unheard of at the time, right? It's like, you want a knife to do what? Well, and when you created this knife, Rapala, you guys knocked it out of the park because this thing is absolutely flexible. It allows you to get along the bone of the fish, the top portion of the fish, and then work your way around the rib cage, and it does a phenomenal job. The sheath is absolutely phenomenal. I'm just trying to be very careful. The way my Friday is going here, I'm going to end up getting cut and not... I'm just getting nervous, guys. Why did you give me a knife on a Friday? This doesn't make sense. But it's got the belt holder on here. This is a great looking knife here. Eric's laughing at me. He knows how nervous I really am. But again, we talked about over 100 million sold of this knife. It does come with a sharpener right here. So this is one thing too you can have. Now, okay, let's talk about the bigger sizes, right? Again, the sizes are the 4, the 6, and the 7.5 inch sizes. 7.5 is obviously where you're going to want to use for some of your bigger fish, like northern pike, lake trout, some of those bigger ocean fish. And then that 6-inch size, walleye, I'm going to say a cursed word here, bass, if you're skinning some of the bass that are out there. Bass are delicious, don't get me wrong. You know, bigger crappies. And then that 4-inch side is the perfect knife for your panfish, your perch, your crappies, your bluegills. Now, here's something that I like to do with mine. I have the 4-inch. I love that it's still as sharp now, you know, with a little bit of honing with this Rapala sharpener that comes with it, as it was the day I bought it. And what I absolutely love mine for is not only the cleaning fish portion of it, but I use my Rapala 4-inch fillet knife for actually skinning deer. If you get that thing so sharp, and again, here as I get nervously pull this thing out, you know, the tip is a good area, especially at that 4-inch size. You can have a lot of good control of it when you're skinning out a deer, or if you are skinning out any kind of animal that you may be or looking at mounting, you know, caping it. Once you get along the head, you know, you got to be fine with that blade. And that 4-inch Rapala knife that I use, it absolutely works phenomenal for that. You know, it's so sharp, that tip is so sharp, plus it's so, you know, subtle that you can get along, you know, the eyes, the jawline. You can make those precision cuts on a deer or on any kind of animal if you're getting ready to mount it or just, you know, doing whatever with it. That I love my Rapala fillet knife for that instance. You know, you're working your way around the legs, right, to get that hide loose around the legs. I mean, this knife is known for filleting fish, but that was one application when I got it that I absolutely love it for that reason. So this Rapala fillet knife, we've talked about it. It's a phenomenal knife. It is a staple in the fishing industry. And look at the prices right now. Normally $19.99, you get it for 20% off, and that's all the sizes that 4-inch if you want to have one of those. And that 4-inch is nice too because you can have it in the bottom of a tackle box. You can store it in your boat. You can have it, you know, you can also place it on the side because all these knives came with that same beautiful sheath that you have here with the belt holder on it. Aaron, I got a random question. Have you ever seen I think it was the Jimmy Kimmel skit where Will Ferrell comes out with Ryan Gosling and they're doing the knife show? Oh, look it up. Dude, that's what I feel like right now. Like, I just feel like I'm going to cut my hand off someplace and it's not going to be good. You actually want me to try to show it? Is it that good? Is it that sharp, Aaron, that I can cut paper with it right now? Like, this could be like opening the Berkeley flatworms. Like, it's not gonna work. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this. Now I don't have my notes. Holy smokes, everybody. Like, I'm literally filleting paper right now. Oh, that one didn't work as well as I wanted it to. There we go. Look at that. That is precision. This is an awesome knife. This makes a good present, especially at 20% off normal prices. I mean, they're ranging that, you know, $19.99 price ranging on up. That's an awesome knife. This thing is beautiful. It's full tang all the way through. It's handcrafted. It is an absolutely phenomenal knife. Watch that video. I'm telling you, that video was super entertaining. But anyways, everybody, it's the 4, it's the 6, it's the 7.5. You see the code on the top of your screen right now. It's RFNFK. Now remember, if you want to take advantage of this awesome knife, right? Like, this is one that you can get on TRS Live on the realshot.com website. Now, that's where this deal is happening, that 20% off. I know everybody loves to come in stores, see the huge assortment of products, but this deal is only good on TRS Live. So you got to go on the Real Shot website. And here's the deal too. If you're a Fixed TV member and you haven't used your $5 subscription yet, basically your gift card, this is an ultimate product to use it for. We talked about that 4-inch. It's easy to travel with. It's easy, like, BK, when I say travel, don't take it in the airport. I'm saying, like, have it in your boat, have it in your truck, so on and so forth. And then at home, at fish camp, at deer camp, wherever, you can have that 6 or that 7.5-inch size. And that's where really need to. The other thing too is when we talked about processing deer, this thing is a phenomenal knife for, like, filleting your back straps, or some of your roast, getting that white skin off of there, that tallow. This thing is awesome. So not only is it great for filleting fish, there has a lot of benefits to it. If you're filleting paper like I just did here, boy, it makes a great tomato slices. Next time, can I at least get some fruit to cut up in here? I mean, I need one of those steel gloves. Otherwise, this is a live show. This would be scary, scary stuff. So remember, 1936 is how long Rapala's been in the game. This knife, there's over 100 million sold. Martini's been making this knife for nearly 50 years. It's a phenomenal product. And that deal that we got going on, 20% off, that's an awesome deal. Fix TV, if you still got your $5 coupon, use it for this knife too. But I mean, this is a cool one. This was one I got excited about. And that is a cool thing. I get to do a lot of research on the great products that we have here. Aaron, every time I pull it out, he gasp a little bit, like I'm going to slice a finger off. But this is one of these great knives. Go ahead and take advantage of it on the realshot.com website. But we're not done yet, right? We still have 2 more products to go. The next product coming up is a head-to-head Silk Series hoodie. Normal retail price $79.99 on this hoodie. Right now you're going to be able to get it for $59.99. So that's coming up next here on TRS Live. So don't go anywhere. Be right back here after these brief commercial breaks.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
Hey, it's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody. Ooh, yeah, ooh. This is the head-to-head Silk Series hoodie. You have seen this on head-to-head. Not only have I worn it, Brian's worn it, Andy Cleveland's worn it. A lot of the anglers have worn this thing. All right, let's talk about it first and foremost. Not only does that graphic look really, really nice, it's got a logo on the side here. Which one do I have on? Is that the walleye or the smallmouth? I can't quite tell. Comes in blue, comes in a different flavor of black with a walleye or a smallmouth. Now, here's why I absolutely love this hoodie. This thing for a hooded sweatshirt is like heavy, where it's not like super heavy to wear, but it's heavy built, right? A lot of times when I go out fishing in the early season, where it's still spring or fall or even in the winter time, I love to wear this thing because I don't need a whole lot underneath it. And I can kind of get into some of the material that it's made of. So it's a super stretch 2-layer design, right? So you can see, yeah, look at how good I look. Darn it. See, here I am showing you an example. I did wear it out in the winter with shorts. So that's cool. Brush fleece interior for added warmth. That you can kind of see that here. So if Aaron, you want to go to that main screen, if I don't show my belly, you can kind of see some of that fleece in here. This is really nice. So it's a really warm hooded sweatshirt. And at $20 off, at normal price $80, I would pay $80 for this over and over again. Here, now I can turn. I'll turn this way. What is that one? Oh, that is the walleye. Yeah, gosh, that looks super nice. That big walleye on the side of there. This is a really nice sweatshirt. It's heavy enough. You can wear it basically, you know, winter, spring, fall, ice fishing, all that kind of stuff. The Never Fade fused dye print. Well, that's pretty awesome. And this is really cool too. Like, it's got the contours of it, of the head-to-head logo on it. It is really, really nice. When we designed these, they did a really, really great job. Hockey style drawstring here. So if you're out there playing hockey, you can fit right in because you got the drawstring that matches what hockey players like to wear. I'm not a hockey player, but I feel like if I would walk in the ice rink someplace, they'd be like, whoa, you should be here, because that's an awesome looking sweatshirt. Here's one thing that I find is critical with some of the clothing out there. You know, if you have a day where it's super cold and your weight fluctuates because you ate a lot for Thanksgiving or something like this thing still has a really good natural fit for it. So if you're an extra large like I am, wear an extra large. Get an extra large. If you're bigger or smaller sizes, they are true to fit. So they're very comfortable. The other thing too is they don't like roll up or ride up like some of the other sweatshirt companies that are out there. It fits really nice. You know, I can do the arm test here. Oh God, here we go. Arm test. You can see I'm wave my hands over here, wave my hands over there. You know, it's not pulling up. I can even show you in the back here if I don't knock stuff off. You can see it's not pulling up. It's not exposing areas for the wind to get underneath. The hoodie is really nice. Again, here, I look standard, I look stylish, but the hoodie is nice. You can turn, you're flexible. It's a really, really nice hoodie. Certain sizes are available. Certain number of inventories are available. We got a lot of requests for these. We're kind of looking to out with the old so we can bring in some of the new stuff, but they are very stylish. Do you have some of the other videos that are out there so we can see some of the other stylings? Here's Aaron rocking this one on a beautiful fall day. That's that blue color. That's one of my favorites too. I like the way that one turned out. That's a really nice one. A little different insignia on the front of it. Again, Aaron popping his collar. Look at this guy. That's our producer Aaron. For those who are wondering who's always talking to me, giving me super sharp knives. That's Aaron right there. What's the other video we got here? Show that one off. I mean, I know people who have seen it here is Megan standing in a pine forest. She's rocking it, having fun. Look at how nice they look. So not only does it look good on men, if you have any ladies in the family that would love a head-to-head hoodie, there you can see a little different logo on that one. Is that the smallmouth one, I believe? This is the same one that I have on. That's the walleye too. So yeah, everybody, this is a really nice hoodie. That's all I can really say about it. It's heavy enough. You can wear it, you know, in the cold temperatures. You don't need to layer underneath it a whole lot. And then if you just put a nice jacket on over the top of it, you'll be super warm. It does breathe really nice. It's not like a super dry, like wicking style fabric to it, but it's just a really high quality sweatshirt. And especially at that $20 off, this is one that you're gonna wanna add. And if you are a head-to-head fan out there, you got to represent your brand like I do. Look at this. It looks really nice. The big shield that's on there. So this is one that you should definitely take advantage of. And if we have the flames, can I call this one the TRS Real Deal of the Day? Boom. That's how hot I am right now underneath this sweatshirt too. So that's actually a really fire right now because this thing is so super warm and I'm wearing it when it's like 80 degrees out. So that's really smart too. So they gave me a knife and they put me in a beautiful head-to-head hooded sweatshirt here, so I'm sweating all over the place. But there it is, everybody. TRS Real Deal of the Day. Normal retail price $79.99. Right now it's $59.99. Take advantage of it. Again, only at therealshot.com. Here's one again. If you are a Fixed TV subscriber because you love to watch head-to-head over there, you can use that $5 credit. Sizes are available. There's anywhere from small to the 4XL. So we do have some of those bigger sizes available. And again, with the extra large like I have on, if I do still have some room because it's got that nice stretchy material to it to layer underneath it. It's stylish enough to wear in the boat, but if I'm going out to a fancy dinner with my wife, she loves it when I wear this thing out to dinner. It really, really looks good. So, and you can get recognized, right? You'd be like, oh my God, you know what head-to-head is? You're so cool. Let's be friends. I'll buy you your supper for you. It's a steak supper. So, all right, everybody, TRS Real Deal of the Day. It's the H2H Silk Series hoodies. There's certain sizes available, certain numbers, shirts or sweatshirts available. Normal retail price, $79.99. You're going to get it on therealshot.com right now for $59.99. That's a really good deal. It's H2HSS if you're looking to find it on the Real Shot code. So this is an awesome one. Again, I don't know how long they're going to be available. I don't know how long they're going to be on sale, so do not wait. So, final product of the day. Feels like we've been here for almost an hour, which, wink, wink, we have been. Berkeley Flicker Shad. This is the Silk Series. This is kind of like the Slick Series, kind of like the Silk Series that I have on here. Some sizes 5 through 7. So we'll talk about that once we come back from these brief commercial breaks. Talking about the Berkeley Flicker Shad, it's time to go ahead and take advantage of the deal that's coming up next.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
The Real Shot. Sounds like we've got what you need.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to TRS Live. I am your host, Matt Trotz. And again, we've talked about some phenomenal products on here. We had a phenomenal guest, Vince Heatree with Fish Boy Guide Service. That's one of the best names you could ever be for a fishing guide. Now, last but not least, we talk about Berkeley a lot here on TRS Live because it is, again, one of those staple names in the industry. We had talked about it with the Rapala knife being around since 1936. Well, Berkeley, again, began right around that 1937 time frame. Spirit Lake, Iowa, we've talked about how Berkeley Bidell, he went ahead and saved some money from his paper route, invested, and he was making flies, selling them to the local people, and realized that, holy smokes, I actually have something to go with here. And what he did is he blossomed that into one of the biggest names in the fishing industry right now. And what they do is they use some of the biggest names in the fishing industry to make some high quality, potent baits out there. And the Berkeley Flicker Shad, boy, I don't have to say a whole lot after that. This is a phenomenal bait out there, whether you're trolling it for walleyes, casting it for walleyes, for bass, for salmon, for trout, for crappies, all that kind of stuff. White bass, it doesn't really matter. This thing flat out catches fish. Why? Well, because it just flat out works. That's basically it. The same great Berkeley wobble, no matter what the size here. So sizes, again, it's the 5 and the 7s. We're talking about that Slick series. This is a great bait. The Slick series is great for those sunny days. It gives it a lot more flash, that Berkeley wobble. So let's talk about it. We talked about Berkeley being a great pro company with one of the great names, right? Well, Keith Cavallas and Gary Parsons helped create this bait a while ago, and this thing has been a #1 seller here for us at The Real Shot since its inception. And when they came out with the different sizes, the different depths that this thing runs at, they knocked it out of the park. This has a phenomenal action to it. There's so much versatility to it, and at that price, normally $4.99, you're going to get $1 off, $3.99. And all the colors that we can talk about here are at that $1 off. Slick Purple Candy, Slick Fire Tiger, Slick Mouse, Slick Purple Bengal, which I can tell you is one of the hot sellers. Slick Chartreuse Pearl, Slick Green Alewife, Slick Alewife, holy man. Slick Pearl Silver, Slick Blue Alewife, Slick Schmelt. Is it Schmelt or Smelt? I like to say it Schmelt wise. Slick Black Pearl and Slick Chartreuse are some of the great colors that you'll be able to find on therealshot.com. This thing, we talked about it being pro design. It casts really well. There's rattles in there, and not only does it rattle to give it the effect of the noise, it's going to help trigger the bites when that wobble works too, but those rattles in there were designed to help this thing cast. So this thing, when you use the Precision Trolling app, you can run it back a ways. You can find the perfect trolling depths for it. You can cast it up shallow at certain times of the year. We could talk about the size of this bait. So the size and the 5, it's around that 2-inch size, 3/16 ounce, and that runs in the depths anywhere from 9 to 11 feet. And then the size 7, 2 3/4 inches. That's that 5/16 ounce, and that runs from that 11 to 13 feet. So if you need a bait that'll just flat out catch fish, this is the bait for you. Take advantage of that $1 off. Again, this is one of those products that doesn't go on sale a whole lot because it doesn't need to. It sells at full retail. So why would we discount it? Well, we discount it to get it in your hands so you can use it. And then when you have success using it, go ahead and share it to our social media pages. But the other thing too is because we're here to save you money in the process right now. So let's just take advantage of that $1 off, add some of these Slick series, or the Slick series to the cart. I'm always confused now with the Silk series and the Slick series. I mean, add it to the cart. You know, with pros behind it, like Keith Cavallas and Gary Parsons, that they absolutely trust and believe in this thing. This thing is proven. It is one of the most winningest walleye baits out there in the industry. Like, this thing is phenomenal. The color, the attention to detail that Berkeley does. Working through head to head, I got the opportunity to talk to some of the designers, some of the scientists over there at Berkeley, and boy, they love their job. They take a lot of passion into designing these baits and working with the right pros to design these baits that they make them to help you catch fish and to be successful, whether it's a tournament fisher or a weekend warrior. That's what Berkeley does. The one thing too is, you know, we talked about attention to detail. Those Fusion 19 treble hooks are some of the sharpest treble hooks out of the game. And you know that when you pull this flicker shad out of the pack, whether it's a 5 or a 7s, It's going to run basically as straight as you can possibly get it. They like to tank test everything. They put a lot of time and effort that when you grab this thing, whether you're snapping it on a swivel or you're tying it directly on, as soon as you make that cast, as soon as you run it back, it's going to run as true as it did right out of the package, and it is a phenomenal, phenomenal bait. So again, they are $4.99 normal retail price, $3.99. This thing is phenomenal. We talked about the Silk series, or Slick series, gosh darn it, that works great on sunny days. It gives it a lot more flash. You can kind of see some of the flash, the iridescence to the colors as I kind of rotate the wheel here, or if Aaron wants to bring up the video of it. You know, you got your perch patterns, you got your alewife patterns. The chartreuse is always a good one. I mean, there, look at the way the light hits that bait. Look at, it's just a phenomenal bait. Definitely want to take advantage of that $1 off. Again, some of the colors that you're seeing on the screen right now, Slick Purple Candy. I'm going to take away the slick portion and just go Fire Tiger. You got Mouse, Purple Bengal, that Slick Chartreuse, Pearls, Green Alewife. You got the Slick Pearl Silver. Again, the Slick Blue Alewife, Slick Smelt, the black pearl, and then chartreuse are some of the colors that are available. And remember, this is only available at therealshot.com. So if you are looking to get some of these baits, but yet you want to stop in the store, here's what you can do. When you're on therealshot.com, you can either use the code that you see in the top of your screen, or you can just search it. It's the Berkeley Flicker Shad in that Slick series. Find it, add the ones to your bait or your cart. Then you take advantage of that $1 off. Now, let's say you're coming through the Fox Valley and you want to stop and you want to check out the Real Shot. I mean, I'm looking at the sales floor right now. It is hopping and bopping. They got their new hours rolling, and people are appreciating that. But then you can click that in-store pickup tab. So you can come here if you have any questions for the great sales staff here at the Real Shot. Remember, this is what they do. They live and breathe fishing and hunting on the firearm side. We pick the staff that absolutely believes in the products that we not only carry, but they are users themselves of the great products that we carry. Wow, that guy kind of looks like Brett Favre a little bit. Maybe Brett Favre's down there. But anyway, so come on in, do in-store pickup, or you can have it shipped directly to your house. It's pretty fast shipping. The warehouse is caught on up. They're getting products out as fast as they possibly can, so which is something awesome. So again, it is the Berkeley Flicker Shad. It's that Slick series. The sizes are 5 and 7 on your code, or on the code on the top of your screen right now is BFSS4. Taking advantage of that savings, $1 off. Get some of these baits. And again, if you have success with these, please share them to our socials. That's the Real Shot, the social media page on Instagram and Facebook, or TRS Live on Facebook and Instagram. Share some of your success pictures with us. If you haven't yet, please share it with your friends. Tell them to like and follow. I think we're going to end up here doing a giveaway as well at some point. So help us out, share it, follow it, smash that. So if you follow it in the tabs, you're going to see there's a couple of instructions there. But make sure you hit the notifications that you can get notified when we go live. And add us to your favorites so you can always see when some new upcoming stuff comes forth here on TRS Live. But boy, we had a great show today here on Friday. Remember, we are live here for TRS Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Well, I don't know what we got coming up next week, but boy, I think we're getting around that bull hunting season. Some deer are starting to show some great characteristics with their antlers, so I think it's time that we can start talking about hunting a little bit. So maybe watch for TRS Live next week. There might be some hunting products coming forth, but here's the deal, everybody, though. The number one goal here is to save you money, and that's what we're going to do no matter what the products we're talking about next week. So again, thanks to Vince for making time today. I'm sure he's out in the water, hopefully catching some fish. I've probably got a couple of text messages just rubbing it on in. Thanks to all our guests that we had this week, and hopefully I can get some more great guests in here next week, whether it's from in the store or some pro staffers throughout some of the great products that we carry. But enjoy your weekend, everybody. Be safe, and I will talk to you Monday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.